If you're going to ride for the brand, you better have a brand worth riding for. On today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 198. I am the residential sales manager and associate broker here at ProStar Realty, and I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. I don't know when you guys actually watch this. I know there's a couple people, it's like, I put this thing up and like 30 minutes later, I'm like, 3 views. So, all right, for those 3 people out there, you guys are awesome. For the rest of you guys who sort of slime in later on in the week, you're also awesome, just not as quickly awesome as the people before. So, hope everybody's doing well. I am almost caffeinated enough to get through the day, and yes, the screen is lagging behind what I say, so it's going to be distracting me through the whole thing, but hopefully the video shows up on the right side. So, it is November, and we are going into the Thanksgiving thing, and of course, since Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday, I'll have a very, very truncated, hi, thanks for watching, have a happy Thanksgiving video next week. And we're gearing up towards the end of the year, which means I'm working on my people on their business planning and whatnot. And when you're doing business planning, okay, there's your want. I want to have X amount of closings next year. And then the next question that I ask you is, how do you plan on finding those next closings? Are you just going to sit out on the street with a sign that says, well, we'll sell houses for food and people just stop by and give you a listing? How are you going to go get those listings? And then you start having to figure out where you're going to advertise. Now, one of my agents, working with a social media manager, came up with a pretty decent campaign that he's getting a lot of results from. And I'm really impressed with it. Right? That's what I'm talking about. But for people out there who don't know exactly how to start an advertising campaign, all right, first question you need to do is you need to talk about your brand, all right, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, I just remembered I was going to have a picture of like some old traditional brands from the West, like everybody knows the Yellowstone brand. If you've been watching that show, Flying J. Their logo was originally a Flying J, which is a J with little wings on it. I read brand. All right, it's one of the things that happens when you grow up in the West. I know what a rocking R looks like and a lazy S. All right, and all those other good things. I even know the 4 6s ranch, which I think is just one numeral off of satanic. All right, but as things go along, let me show you how important this is to my particular industry, all right? Because there's a couple things that have popped up, all right? NAR, National Association of Realtors, all right, signals the worst of the downturn may be over as existing home sales rise, all right? The industry is slowly starting to recover. As I mentioned a couple times, it's like nature is healing, all right? And let's just look at the numbers real quick, and show you what I'm talking about, all right? So, these are numbers for November 21st, 2024, okay? Actives this week are 21,688, all right, which is up 390 from the week before. New listings are 2,017, up 60. Our contracts are 1,867, down 25, and our closings are 1,187. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 518 new listings. But down on the supply side, all right, our supply is now at 88.2, still trending up. But our demand actually raised to 76.8, still giving us an 87.1, which is dropping, but we see demand starting to pick up. And when you go and you look at the different neighborhoods and whatnot, okay, you can see Fountain Hills, wow, dropped 24%. They're down at 141, still a declining in that market, but still seller side, right? The one I really want to point out here is Cave Creek, right? Cave Creek in the last month has gone up 10%, and they have gone from a balanced market into a seller's market. I think that's the first time I've seen one actually rise into a seller's market for a couple months now, right? And couple razors, mostly declining, still Buckeye down 30%. They're at 54.7. That's almost 2 to 1 houses, 2 houses for every buyer out there. So buyers looking for a deal, get thee to Buckeye. All right, but we are starting to see sales pick up again. All right, now when you're talking about the National Association of Realtors who are trying to manage their brand and manage what's going on, the market is coming back. Right? And if you want to be a savvy real estate agent, you want to be in position now to take advantage of that when they eventually do show up. If you're a buyer and you want to know what's the best time to buy, now. All right. Constant reoccurring thing. When everything kicks loose, you're going to be in line with everybody else. All right. If you get a house under contract in December, you will not be closing until next year. Right. 30 days from whatever. But that also means that when everybody else is going out the first week, looking at all the houses and finally calling up their lenders and everything else, you're already going to be sitting pretty, and you'll be in the position to catch all that equity, right? All that appreciation of their property because you got in a couple weeks earlier, right? But how does this all dovetail into branding? If you're going to put yourself in position, all right, to get in front of all these buyers and sellers on the 1st of January, you need to be working on this stuff today, and which means you need to be talking about your advertising, which means you need to look at your personal brand. Now, let's talk about a brand that we're all associated with, or at least I'm associated with. These guys right here. All right? This is the National Association of Realtors. On the left, you see the old logo that they've used pretty much for forever. I don't know when they got away from it or when they moved into this, right? But it's been at least as long as I am. On the right, you see the new and improved brand. They spent money hiring somebody, come up with a new brand, and that's what they did. They took it, they put it into paint, they hit it with a 3D filter, rotated it, it looks like maybe 10, 15 degrees, maybe 20. Give it a 3D effect. Congratulations, you just hit the 1990s, right? But this is what, and of course, they changed the font because this is what everybody does, right? Here's a nice serif font. Serifs are those little itty bitty tabs that you see on stuff. Here's a nice sans serif because everybody knows sans serif fonts are more modern. Ray does not agree, all right? Because what's going on with National Association of Realtors? This article right here. Guess what? New York Times has come down on National Association of Realtors, finding out that all those volunteers that we've been electing to sit on our boards, well, apparently they've been, that's been a pretty decent gig if you get to be a volunteer on one of the boards, all right? We're talking, they are covering the cost of private clubs in Chicago and Washington, paying a $75,000 initiation fee to a golf club, all right? This is what they're currently in investigation, and National Association of Realtors might lose their nonprofit status because apparently it looks like some big grift campaign. Now, let me tell you, does an organization that would just spend hundreds of thousands of dollars redoing their logo from the left to the right, does that look like the kind of organization that would grift? Your mileage may vary. Speaking of grift and what originally got me on this whole thing, all right, this guy right here, National Association of Realtors decided to make him the face of the brand. Okay, some television show, and for the love of God, I can never remember the name of the show because I'm repressing the memory so hard, but they actually paid money for this guy who's a comedian, who is on a comedy show, to be a realtor and to be the face of the industry, this jerk off. All right? What other bad brands happen? Anybody recognize this brand right here? All right. This is a British car company. All right. This brand, from the weighted font below, okay, to that symbol, which you used to see on the hood of a lot of these cars, all right, power, strength, speed, everything that you want in a vehicle. All right. And this was their brand for some time. Now, Jaguar has always been a weird vehicle. One, it's British made, and anybody who knows cars instantly starts thinking about wiring problems and all the other. Let's just say the Brits are not known for their cooking, and they're not known for their cars. Make great engines, pretty decent airplanes. Cars, not so much, right? But they decided to do a rebrand. So what do you do when you're doing a rebrand? You kill the kitty and you change the font. Here's our new brand. All right, this is what they're leading out with. So if I am trying to develop my brand as a real estate agent, all right, what I tell my agents when they come in is you'll always hear this term called unique value proposition. All right, that's what I do different than any other real estate agent out there. And some people need to lean into that. Omar, hardest working boy in real estate. Swear to God. All right. I'll fully admit that. That needs to be his brand. All right. Logan needs to develop a brand. Jeff, okay, he's a lender and a real estate agent, so he's one call gets it all. See where I'm going with this? Everybody's got their own little thing, and then you develop your own personal brand. Now, a lot of people, they join the brokerages and they hitch their, themselves to that particular wagon, right? It's like, oh, Remax, I got the balloon. I got the entire Remax industry behind me. But if you really want to be successful, you need to develop your own book of business and you need to develop your own brand. So what's Ray's brand? I always like to say I'm the smartest guy in real estate. And I tell all my agents, you too can say you're the smartest person in real estate. Just understand, as soon as I'm walking in the room, I am the smartest person in real estate, and you are suddenly sitting there with no brand. Right? But these are the kind of things I'm kicking around. Where am I going with all this? This is one where you got a little bit of homework. Right? I want you to watch the 2 videos I have in the notes below. Right? The first video is going to be the Jaguar commercial where they release their new branding concept. Right? The second one is another commercial. I'm not going to tell you what that brand is. And if there's any way to make sure that you do not get a spoiler on clicking on that link, all right, please do. I want you to watch the entire thing. It's about 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 minutes long. It's a short movie, and it is incredible. I mean, like literally, it's one of those you stop and you go, wow. How did I know to go wow? Because everybody I follow when it comes to marketing all shared that thing, went, wow, okay. It might win a Clio this year. It should win a Clio this year, all right? But once it is done and you're finally shown what the product is they're selling, see if that advertising ties in with your understanding of what that brand is and what that brand represents. Then afterwards, if you could do me a favor, in the show notes below, I would like you to comment on me and what you think my personal strengths are and what my brand should be. All right? If I hear a good one, I might roll with that next year. Never hurts to experiment. All right. What else? Other things to go with my brand? All right. Smartest guy in real estate, talks too much, always watching children and pets around water. All right. I never drive in anything flooded since the incident. Okay. I always try to work my circles every morning when I meditate. All right. And I really try to have a good weekend, and I hope you guys have one too. I'll talk to you guys all later.